Section 5, how to analyze your YouTube analytics to improve. So to go viral on YouTube, you need to do as good or better than the other videos in your niche, right? Doing better on YouTube means having a higher average view duration, right? Having more watch time, having a higher click-through rate, being able to keep people on the platform longer. And so what are the specific numbers that you should be looking for? Well, it does vary on multiple things. It varies how long your video is. It varies on what type of content you're uploading. But generally, what I've found is that I've never seen a video with less than 60% average view duration and at least a 6% click-through rate not do well, right? And as mentioned in chapter 3, YouTube's algorithm cares about 4 things in this order. Number 1, session time, right? Making sure YouTube users stay on YouTube and have a good experience. Number 2 is watch time, right? That's how long users spend watching a specific video. Third is audience retention. This is the percentage of video people watch. So if they watch 5 minutes of a 10-minute video, the audience retention would be 50%. And click-through rate, right? How many people click out of the total impressions? So if 100 people see it, but only 5 clicked, that click-through rate would be 5%. And so to analyze your audience retention, what you want to do is you want to look on all of your first 30 videos. If you don't have 30 videos yet, start analyzing from what you do have, right? And take notes of why you think people left the video. And try to make sure that you don't make those same mistakes again. So you can see on this graph right here that I pulled, I don't even remember what video this was from, but there was a huge dip right around here. We learned from the mistake and we didn't do it again. And YouTube actually does a great job of highlighting key moments, and sometimes you're not going to see those unless your video is 60 seconds long and has at least 100 views. Really, to understand the audience retention graph comes down to these few things. When it's flat, that's a good thing, right? It means people are watching the whole video from start to finish. And we'll actually pull up an example here. So this one, didn't do too well. It's only 30.9%, but strangely enough, because of the click-through rate being so high, it actually got over 1 million views. So, what you want to look for, and YouTube has this very detailed here, right? When the line is flat, which this one isn't entirely flat, but when it's completely flat, right, it means people are watching from beginning to end. Gradual declines are normal, right? That means that viewers are losing interest over time. And keep in mind, guys, no video on YouTube, it doesn't matter how good your video is, no video is going to be perfectly flat beginning to end, right? That's unrealistic. That never happens. Gradual declines, right? That's normal. Spikes, you can see one right here. That means that people are replaying or sharing the video at that specific time. You can go through here and actually watch and see, right? Try to understand why it's spiking, why it's dropping down. Because if it dips, that's the opposite of a spike, right? That means people are leaving the video, they're not replaying it, or they're skipping over that part of the video. So if there's a drop, right? Here's a drop from 5 minutes until around 5 minutes and 30 seconds, right? This 30 seconds right here is a huge dip. That means people are skipping through this segment right here. So I would take a look at that, right? Take notes and try to figure out, what was it that caused people to skip through this part, right? And so, here's just some general, YouTube vocabulary to know. Average view duration. That is the estimated average minutes watched per video for the selected video and date range. Right, so the average view duration on this video is 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Meaning, in simpler terms, on average, out of everyone who clicked and watched this video, the average time people watched, right, most people watched at least 3 minutes of this video. Watch time is always measured in hours, right, unless you specifically set it 2 minutes. Right, that's the amount of time viewers have spent watching your video. And what I always like to do is I wait at least 7 days to make an assumption on the data. Because if you don't, you might make a decision before the video really had time to do its thing on YouTube. So what I always say is, when in doubt, zoom out, because you should never be analyzing any data aside from the click-through rate within the first 7 days, right? Don't look at the audience retention. Don't look at anything else other than the click-through rate because of split testing, which we'll talk more about later. But don't get caught up in the audience retention until it hits 7 days, right? You have to remember that. Because even the most successful channels on YouTube, they have ups and downs. And most of the time, a video never goes viral within the first 7 days. It's actually usually, it can be a few weeks after it was published or even, years down the line. So never make an assumption before 7 days, right? I can't say that enough. It's super important. And so, while we're talking about audience retention, I want to talk about more of an advanced strategy. And this isn't important until you're making at least $30,000 per month. So once you start making $30,000 per month, I would start analyzing each video's average view duration in a Google Sheet. And this allows you to get a much, more detailed view of when drop-offs occur, right? And the way I set it up, makes it much more clear to read the data than this simple graph that YouTube provides. And again, this is not important until you're making at least $30,000 per month. So if you are making $30,000 per month, send me a little DM and I'll teach you the rest. So I want to go over 4 main reasons why most people fail on YouTube. So number 1 is just lack of patience, right? Most channels never take off right away, almost none of them. And the problem is, with YouTube, is it's a game of patience, right? You have to stay consistent and you have to be patient. It's not overnight success. And that's why so many people give up, because they start uploading videos and they don't take off right away. So they think that, this is a scam, it doesn't work, it's fake, they just got unlucky. Whatever the case is, that's the core of the, why people give up, is because they lack patience. Most people, they don't want to wait, the 3 to 6 to even 9 months or longer that it actually takes to start seeing results. And they give up prior to even having success. Number 2 is ignoring the numbers, right? Most people aren't willing to put in the effort to come into their analytics and analyze everything, right? They just have no idea of what's going on. They don't know why things aren't working, right? You got to be willing to put in the work, because if you don't, then this isn't going to work for you. You have to be willing to come in here, write every video, look at the audience retention, analyze everything, analyze the dips, analyze the peak, take notes of why you think people are leaving, why you think people are watching a part over again. Because if you're not doing that on every single video, then I guarantee that you're going to fail. Number 3 is hiring the wrong people or, doing poor work yourself. So hiring someone who makes bad thumbnails or making terrible thumbnails yourself is got to be one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make. And it goes for every step of the process, right? Editing, voiceover, scripts. But most people, they struggle with thumbnails. They either can't learn it themselves, they don't put in the time to practice to master it themselves, or they're, not willing to go through the effort to hire someone else who can do it for them. And because so many people struggle with thumbnails, what I always suggest you guys doing, especially when first starting out, is post your thumbnails in the group, right? I'll look at them, I'll tell you if they're good, I'll tell you any changes that need to be made. And then the 4th reason people fail is they have no sense of direction, right? A lot of people will be posting sport videos one week, business videos the next, and then start posting animal videos and just completely changing up the channel. The key is to stick to one thing, and I would give it at least 3 to 6 months before you decide to switch to some other niche. Just because you have been uploading for 3 to 6 months and you haven't seen massive results yet, it doesn't mean it won't happen. But, if you have another niche in the back of your mind that you want to go for instead of the one that you're currently doing, give it at least 3 to 6 months. Right? And if you decide to switch, just remember that you could be only one video away. So it's up to you if you want to switch, but I wouldn't if I were you. Because who knows, maybe you're going to switch a niche, but if you would have just kept at it in the one that you were in, you could have had success within a couple of videos. So I would never give up. I don't recommend you give up, but if you're going to switch a niche, give it at least 3 to 6 months before you do so. Next, I want to talk about why videos are never dead. So as I was talking about earlier, you want to give it at least 7 days before you look at the data. But even after 7 days, when you're looking at it and it still doesn't seem to, be picking up at all, it doesn't mean that it won't. It's a very common occurrence to upload a video and it doesn't blow up until 3 months down the line. So for example, if you upload a video, 5 scariest shark attacks caught on camera, it may die off and not gain any significant views. But then a year later, some other channel posts a similar video that does go viral. Your video gets put in the suggested next to that viral video, which causes your video to blow up, right? And most people are so focused on generating new videos that they neglect the fact that you can go back and revise old content. Look at Mr. Beast, the most popular YouTuber of all time. He very recently went back and changed the thumbnails on hundreds of his old videos, and overnight, just from changing the thumbnails on those videos, his views almost doubled overnight. Just from changing the thumbnails, right? So if you have a video that's dead, you can revive that video by improvising the thumbnail, right? Change the title, change the tags, change the description, however, give it at least 6 to 12 months before you do that, because most videos don't pick up right away, and you don't want to unknowingly change something that was going to go viral. When Mr. Beast made those changes to all of his old videos, they were 2 years old, right? He didn't do it within a month. He did it after they were posted 2 years ago. And so common mistakes made by most YouTubers. So something that almost all channels on YouTube do is incentivize viewers to turn on notifications. And the problem with that comes back to one of the most important factors to going viral on YouTube, which is audience retention. So if you're pushing people to subscribe and click the notification bell, you could actually be doing yourself a massive disservice, because when most people click on notifications, they don't watch past a few seconds of the video, right? I've tested this to death. Number one, they might accidentally tap the notification, they might not mean to, and then they're just gonna immediately leave the video. Some people click a notification just to comment that they're first, right? It sounds stupid, but on YouTube, people love to comment that they're first, so, whatever the reason is, people do it. And after they comment first, most of the time they leave the video. When I first started talking to Kwebbelkop, he has 14 million subscribers. When I first started talking to him about YouTube strategies, one of the things he brought up to me was how one of his most viral videos, he didn't turn on notifications for. Because for his channel, his main type of content was uploading GTA 5. And so he was experimenting with Fortnite content. And by the way, these are video games if you don't know. He was experimenting with Fortnite content, which was a very popular game at the time. And what he was finding is, because his viewers were mostly interested in GTA, they were clicking on the video to actually hate on it, to tell him to stop uploading this type of stuff. And so what he decided to do, since he discovered that it was actually his audience that was holding him back from reaching new people, on one of the next videos that he uploaded of Fortnite, he didn't turn on notifications. And what happened is it turned out to be one of his most popular videos with over 10 million views. So just goes to show you that you should always test this stuff. Don't, not turn on notifications just because I'm bringing this up, but test it for yourself. Every channel is different. Some channels do better with notifications on, others don't. So test it, try it out for yourself, and see what works for you. Another common mistake is trying to milk your audience for money prior to having built an audience, right? So when you're in the early stages of your channel, you strictly want to be focusing on growth. Don't focus on monetization other than ads, since it's actually going to hinder your growth. If you start promoting merch, digital products, affiliate marketing, trying to promote your own website, anytime that you direct people off of YouTube, YouTube will hinder your growth, right? YouTube wants to keep people on YouTube. So if you're doing the opposite of that, then it will hinder your growth. Even if you're directing them to your social media, that will hinder your growth, right? And only once you reach 10,000 subscribers, right? That's when you want to start exploring other monetization methods, such as affiliate marketing, merch, never-ending live streams, and stuff like that. But only once you have 10,000 subscribers, and preferably making at least $500 per day. The last thing to mention is some YouTube channels just take time, right? As I've mentioned 1,000 times in this course, so many people go into YouTube expecting overnight success, right? It's not going to happen. This is a very lucrative business, but it takes time to get the momentum going. Just think about how lucrative this is. You're having other people do the work for you, and you're keeping all this profit, right? I'm doing, currently we're doing back-to-back $300,000 months. If this was so easy that, you know, anyone who uploads their first video could have success with it, everyone in the world would probably be doing it, right? But the fact is, it's not that easy. And so to separate yourself from the people who give up and quit, you need to push through. And even though you're not going to see success at first, you have to keep trying, because the hardest part is the first viral video. Once you have one video start to take off, that's when things change, right? I've had channels that take 9 months, 12 months, even 14 months to break ground. But look at where I'm at today, right? Back to back $300,000 months. And it didn't happen overnight, right? It took me 8 years to build up to this point, and it's not going to take you 8 years to build up to that point. But the fact is, it's definitely not going to happen to you overnight. Next thing I want to talk about is seasonality. So over time, right, it's natural for a channel's performance to fluctuate. People who are watching YouTube have a lot of options, right? They might love you one week and not so much the next. Or, you know, maybe they're on vacation, they're not watching videos this week. Maybe they're busy with work, maybe they're busy with school. Whatever the case is, you should expect fluctuations and seasonality, and, right, don't jump to conclusions based on 1 or 2 uploads. Remember, when in doubt, zoom out. Take a higher level view of your overall channel's performance. And so, you know, you might wonder, you know, what if I want to try something new on my channel? Well, experimenting is super important, right? And when starting a channel, you should be trying content, you know, within the right niche until you find something that works, right? And after that, if you want to try something new, just make sure you're listening to the audience. If they don't like that type of videos, then maybe don't, you know, upload those types of videos, or do what Kwebbelkop did and just turn off notifications and ignore the audience, right? It worked out well for him, but, you know, it might not for you. Listen to the audience and test, right? And so if you've been uploading the same thing for a very long time and it's just not driving much engagement as it used to, that's quite the signal that it's time to try something new. And even the best videos have a finite shelf life, right? And experimentation can help you to identify the next wave to maintain and grow your engagement, right? And there's going to be periods throughout the year where channels experience higher or lower views than usual. And there's 2 main types of seasonality, right? The first is what's called audience seasonalities. That's how many people are online watching YouTube during different times of the year. The second is topic level seasonality. This is where the same amount of people are online and watching, but their interest in different topics shift from period to period. So for example, camping and outdoors related videos peak during the summertime. Scary videos shoot up in October, right? Because it's Halloween. Back to school seasonality, you know, especially if it's, you know, an audience catered towards younger kids, it's going to significantly peak in June and July, right? And it's going to slowly start to drop in August as people start going back to school. And so you should never remove a video just because it underperforms within the first 24 hours, right? Especially if you upload it between August and May, because the underlying reason might actually be because of seasonality. It might not mean that your video is terrible, right? So again, never remove a video just because it performs poorly, right? And also never delete a video and then try to re-upload it. Because what's going to happen, your subscribers are likely not going to watch that video a second time if they've already seen it, right? And that's going to lower your click-through rate, and it's just going to be a bad signal to the algorithm. So, you know, if you've experienced back-to-school seasonality in the past, what's likely happening is your viewers just aren't on YouTube, right? So YouTube can't recommend that video to them because they're not on YouTube. Also, views always peak on the weekends as well. So, you know, depending on when you're uploading, if you're only uploading once a week, you should probably upload on a Friday, right, in preparation for the peak on the weekend. Another example of seasonality, audience level seasonality, is the holidays, right? So for example, during Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, people are taking a lot of breaks, right? Or, you know, like during the summer, as we mentioned, people have a lot more free time to watch YouTube. But during the holidays, people might be out with their family or celebrating, you know, Thanksgiving or Christmas Day. So, of course, expect a huge drop in viewership on Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, you know, main holidays like that, right? And here's an example from a workout channel. Every year on January 1st, the views shoot up, right? Every single year. Because, you know, every year a lot of people have New Year's resolutions. They want to get in shape. They want to get fit. They're looking for new workouts and exercises. And then Halloween, right? Again, scary stories, they're going to peak around Halloween. So, if your scary videos channel is doing really well in October and then it just has a massive decline in November, that's normal, right? Because that's seasonality. That's how the process works. There's ups and downs, right? So take advantage of this, understand what your audience is interested in throughout the year so that you can plan in advance, right? So for example, if you're running a scary stories channel, I, would double down for the month in October and produce twice the amount of videos that you normally produce. And that way you're able to capitalize on the extra viewership. So milestone number 4, browse or suggested. Once you have your first video up, get your first view from suggested videos or browse features, right? And this is an incredible milestone, right? And post it in the private group once you reach it, because this means you're on your way to building a massive empire, right? As soon as you get into suggested videos, great sign. It means YouTube sees that viewers are liking your channel and they're pushing it out to more people, especially if it's in browse features, right? And again, there's a very special surprise if you complete all of the milestones in the course. And so now we're gonna jump into YouTube and really dive further into the analytics. So we're actually going to jump over into one of my students' channels, and the great part about working with me and having me as your mentor is you can actually add me as a viewer to your channel, and I can personally come in and look at your analytics, see what you're doing wrong, and really give you some clear direction of what you need to do. So if you have a channel, you want me to personally come in and look at it, let me know, and I will be more than happy to do it. So for this channel, it's a scary videos channel. Now, right away, we can see right here, every time this peaks, that's when he uploads a new video, right? So viewership peaks and then drops back down until the next upload. So this overview tab is more so just the basics. You can look at how many views, the watch time, the subscribers, the revenue, and you can also see the top videos within the last 28 days. You can also change this to, the last 90 days, right? You can see exactly when you got monetized, right? And then we have the content tab, right? This is where you can see more metrics related to videos. So on average, his average view duration is 8 minutes. The click-through rate is 7%, which is very good. You can see, some days it dips below, but, on average, it's 7%. You can also see, individual videos, the audience retention on each. And this audience retention is insane. Right, look at this. 50% of people watch the whole video. 50%. It's insane. You can also see how viewers are finding your videos. Right, most are through browse features, which again is very good, and suggested videos. YouTube search is a little on the low end, so if you see that channel pages are above YouTube search should actually be one of the top 2. So if your YouTube search is low, then I would work on your keywords, work on making more trending topics in your niche, right? Don't focus on short-term trends. Focus on things that have blown up for other channels. So for example, if a dashcam video has done really well for one of your competitors, upload a dashcam video, right? Capitalize on that boom in your niche, right? The top videos. And then we have the audience tab. This is where you can see how many of your viewers are new and how many are returning viewers. So now most of his views are returning viewers, right? He's not really getting a lot of new viewers. That's a sign that something needs to change. You should always be getting more new viewers than returning viewers, or at least close, right? You can't always have it be more than returning, but generally I like to have it above returning viewers, right? And so here was a better ratio, new to returning. You can also see videos that have been growing your audience, and these are your videos, right? So you can see this video right here. This video got new people to the channel and kept them on the channel, right? And you can see the videos that new people watched, but they didn't stick around on your channel. So watch those, analyze, try to figure out why, right? Why did new people see this video and decide to stay around? Why did new people see this video and decide to not stick around on my channel, right? You can also see other channels that your audience watches. This is incredibly useful, right? So we can go over here and actually see what types of videos they're uploading, right? What type of thumbnails they're using, what's been working well for them recently. And a good thing is most of these channels are small channels. YouTube is giving you small channels to look at, and you can go to those channels and see what's causing them to blow up, right? I mean, 24,000 subscribers, that's relatively small compared to, Mr. Nightmare, or I think he was on here. No, I guess not. Chills, right? Almost 6 million subscribers. If a channel on here, has 24,000 subscribers, that's a good sign because you can go over here and see, what's this channel doing that's causing them to blow up. What's working for them. If you check out all of these, let's The Darkest Secret, let's see what they got. Right, some really creepy looking things on here. So scan through these, see if they have any high viewed videos within the last 3 months. So 3 months ago, you can see right here, right, paranormal videos. So I would upload maybe a video about paranormal videos since that did well for his channel. Ghost vids. 3 months ago, let's see, right, top 5 scary ghost videos, top 5 ghost videos, so scary you'll not sleep. You get the idea, and you can also see other videos that your audience has watched, right? Kind of get an idea of again, what other channels people are watching. When your viewers are on YouTube, this one is incredibly valuable because it gives you an idea of when to upload, right? So for this channel, I would upload around, no later than 2 p.m. You can see where people are watching your videos from, right? Majority is from the United States on this channel. Right, you can see how many people have the notification bell on. Watch time from subscribers, non-subscribed to make up the majority here. Age and gender, I wouldn't really pay attention to this other than the male and female because the age is wildly inaccurate because there's so many kids who make a YouTube account and they just put some random age to, to actually be able to create a YouTube account. So never really pay attention to the age. But gender, you can look at that, but, I would generally recommend making videos for both, right? I wouldn't just create videos for females or create videos only for males. I always do both. The next tab I want to look at is revenue. So estimated revenue, that's what will reflect in your AdSense account, right? Usually it's the same. It might vary a few cents, but typically it's the same. Revenue per mileage. This is how much you make per 1,000 views, right? So some days it's $17 per 1,000 views. Some days it's 2 cents per 1,000 views. I would, pay attention to the average there, $1.25. Again, scary videos are more of a low-paying niche, so that's about typical. Cost per mileage. This is how much advertisers pay per 1,000 monetized playbacks. This is really irrelevant. RPM actually didn't used to be on here. It only used to be CPM. But really, I would just not even look at CPM. It's kind of pointless. I would just pay attention to RPM. You can also see the revenue for the past few months, top earning videos, ad types. None of this stuff is really useful other than the revenue right here. Also, research. This is new, very new. And I wouldn't recommend bothering with this until, I can test it out more for myself because I've never used this before. This showed up like a week ago. I have no idea what this even is. I'm currently looking into it, trying to learn it. If it's something worth using, then I'll make an updated video. But if you're watching this video and there's no updated video, then just know that this feature, this research tab right here is completely useless. Because if it turns out to be useful after I test it and see what it's all about, then, this video will, of course, be replaced. Now I want to dive into click-through rate. Right, so head over to content, click-through rate, see more. You can do, let's go to traffic source. Right, and looking at the click-through rate by traffic source is very important, and here's why. The click-through rate in your YouTube analytics is showing an average for everything, including people who are returning to your channel, right? So you want to be really paying attention to the click-through rate for new people, for people who've never seen you before. Because it doesn't matter how high the click-through rate is for someone who already watches your channel, that's irrelevant. Of course it's going to be higher because they already know you, right? They know that they like your videos. Of course they're going to click on it. You need to pay attention and make sure the click-through rate is high for people who've never seen your channel before. So one way of doing that is sorting, the click-through rate by traffic source. And typically, browse features are going to be the highest, because what happens is on browse features, YouTube will show videos to people who've already watched your channel on the homepage. So that one is kind of inaccurate when looking at it from, this particular setup here. But YouTube search in suggested videos is really good. So this channel for the past 90 days has only averaged of like a 4% click-through rate on both of those. So that's bad, right? He obviously needs to improve his thumbnails. It's only 4%. But the reason that it's important to look at this stuff is because if you're going, if you're just going off of what the YouTube analytics say in the basic layout, it's going to say 7%. You're going to be like, oh, okay, well, I'm good, right? It's 7%. It's above 6%. I'm doing well. Well, actually, when you look deeper, you're not doing well. For YouTube search, it's only 4%, right? Same for suggested videos. Another way, and an even better way to sort this is looking at the click-through rate from returning viewers and new viewers. And there isn't actually enough data on this channel to look at that. But once there is, it's pretty much the same setup, right? You click see more, right, under audience and returning viewers. Click see more, and then you can see the click-through rate for new viewers, and you can see the click-through rate for returning viewers. And I would pay attention to the click-through rate for new viewers, right? But, if your channel doesn't have enough data to show that yet, which this one doesn't, the way that you want to, look at the click-through rate is by, going over into content and click-through rate, let's see, views here, and you want to sort by traffic source, right? And then you want to look at suggested videos and YouTube search. And then once your channel has enough data to look at, the click-through rate for new and returning viewers, then you want to start looking at that because it's more accurate than this. So now that you know the importance of actually analyzing your analytics, you also need to understand how important the compound effect really is, right? So to achieve exponential growth on YouTube, because growth on YouTube isn't linear. We've talked about it 100 times. When you first upload a YouTube video, it's not going to be successful at first, right? You need to stay consistent, and over time, right, your efforts will compound. So to achieve exponential growth, you need to upload 30 videos, analyze the analytics of those 30 videos. And if you don't have 30 videos uploaded yet, you still need to be analyzing the analytics until you get to 30 videos. Because even early on, within the first few uploads, you can have an idea of, if you're hitting the right, if you're getting 6% click-through rate, if your audience retention is at 60% or above, right? You also need to improve all new videos with the goal being to outperform the channel average, right? You need to make every video your best one yet. And if you do that, you'll experience the compound effect. And most people, they'll upload 30 videos to analyze the analytics, but they'll just keep doing what they've been doing. They won't actually try to make every new video better than the last one. And that's so important to understand, right? And I would take a note of that. I would say more important than uploading 30 videos and analyzing your analytics, you need to improve with every video, right? Every video in some way, whatever way it is, that's up to you. You need to decide. It has to be better than the last one you uploaded. If not, you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again, and you're not going to see success, and you're not going to see the compound effect. So what is the compound effect, right? So the compound effect is the foundation for a winning mindset for business and life in general, right? I'm sure most of you probably heard about compound interest, and if you invest $10,000 in the stock market and it grows at 10% a year for 50 years, you'll end up a millionaire with $1.2 million, right? That's how compounding works. It's an exponential curve. But most people don't realize this applies to more than just business and actual money, right? You can compound everything, and the compound effect is in everything in your life. The compound effect is small actions that you do consistently over a long period of time to make a significant difference. And this applies to everything, right? Income, health, relationships, happiness, and success. It's all about making small choices every day, consistently, and over time, that makes a significant difference. That's how compounding interest works. The whole thing about compound interest for money is that it's over 50 years, right? It's over a long period of time. It's small gains over a long period of time that compound to massive results. And while, it's not going to take you 50 years to see success on YouTube, it will take a while, right? It's not going to be overnight. Your efforts have to compound. So, for example, if you're trying to lose weight and out of nowhere, it's New Year's, it's a New Year's resolution. So if somebody says they're going to the gym 3 times a week and they're going to completely cut carbs, somebody that's never gone to the gym before, they set this massive goal. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to fail, right? It's not going to work out. However, if that person said, every day I'm going to do 15 push-ups, that's a smaller choice, and it's important that you pick small choices because that's what the compound effect is about, right? You need to make it just small enough so that you can do it every day consistently without it being so unrealistic that you never end up doing it, right? So if you set a small goal, such as 15 push-ups a day, and you do it every single day, over time, that's going to compound, and your health is going to compound, and you're going to feel so much better, right? Now, obviously, 15 push-ups a day isn't enough in terms of completely changing your health, but it's a start. It's a small choice that you make, and then over time, it makes a significant difference. And that same person could also set other compound effect goals, right? So for example, every time I'll eat, I'll have a water instead of a sugary drink. That's a small choice, but if you do that consistently over time, it's going to make a significant difference, right? They can say, I can eat everything that I was eating before, but just not the Mountain Dew that's going to make my heart explode. One small choice, but if you do it consistently and you do it over time, it makes a significant difference. Now, this is a real thing that happens physically. It happens throughout life in general for mindset and success, right? A physical example is the Grand Canyon, right? If you don't know how the Grand Canyon was formed, it was formed by years of water carving through, and there's a little stream going through the Grand Canyon, and that stream of water has been carving the rock consistently for millions of years. And if you zoomed out on a daily basis of the water just doing its thing, it would seem so insignificant, right? You'd never think that that little bit of water could create something that significant. But over time, the water never stopped, right? It's always been consistently flowing down. And over millions of years, it makes a significant difference and created the Grand Canyon, right? One of the great wonders of the world. And this is such a good example of the compound effect. On a daily basis, it seems insignificant. Just like doing 15 push-ups a day seems insignificant because it only takes 2 minutes to do. But if you compound that over time, it makes a significant difference. So this is something that you want to apply in your life. And I'm going to give you another example from my personal life. So I have literally been on YouTube since I was 11 years old. I've basically grown up with YouTube. And when I first started, I never made a dime, right? I didn't make any money. Even when I did start to make a little bit of money, it never was a lot. But I worked really hard and I was consistent because I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew that it would take time to learn and that my time will come if I just stay consistent and continue learning. So every day I uploaded new videos. I looked at what other people were doing that was working for them. I watched all the videos that there were about how to grow on YouTube, which there barely were any back then. And I just tried things for myself consistently, and I never stopped, right? I didn't see big results at first, but all those consistent actions from before gave me the skills I needed to get the results I have today. So all that hard work compounded, right? And if we go back to the first example, that's literally what my success in my business looked like for a long time. Nothing happened. And then all of a sudden, it took off exponentially, right? If you analyze anyone's success, that's what it looks like. It's not that you're not making progress, you are making progress, right? That's just the compound effect. That's how it works. Progress is super slow and you can't tell at first. But then one day it starts compounding and then it goes exponentially up. And so how do you apply the compound effect for YouTube and business? You want to adopt small routines that you can consistently do, right? And consistency is key here. You need to pick things and routines that are small enough that you can keep up and do it consistently and never say, I'm not going to do that. I'm too lazy. I just want to watch Netflix instead, right? So for example, you could say, I'm going to watch one new course video every day, or I'm going to do keyword research every day, or I'm going to look at my competitors' channels and see what's working for them and analyze them every single day. And these small, seemingly insignificant actions compound over a long period of time. So if you're just starting your channel, you could say, I'm going to finish all of chapter 3. Or I'm going to go make some thumbnails for practice. You need to set realistic goals that aren't too crazy and that you can be consistent with, right? It's all about consistency. And when you mix consistency with time, you get crazy results. And so that's basically the compound effect, right? It's very simple. And to end this with a quote, very good quote by Will Smith. He once said that you don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm going to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as this brick can be laid. And you do that every single day. And soon enough, you have a wall. Right? Most people focus on the end goal first. They don't focus on starting and laying it brick by brick. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's move on to the next.